Hi everyone. I know on my screen it says Nicholas, but that's my partner. I am here. I'm going to try and share my screen with you, if you can see it. Okay, it should be up. Okay. Right. So yeah, it was amazing hearing about you, Karen, because we did quite a lot of volunteering through Workaway in Africa, but today I'm not going to be talking about that. So yeah, in 2016, my partner Nico and I said yes to a nomadic life. We quit our jobs, we sold all of our belongings and hitchhiked from my parents' house in rural France down towards the south. That was the first day, and on the day we had no idea that that was to be the start of 3 years of yeses on the road. In January's YesStories, I talked about our trip from France to Namibia via public transport, and maybe if I speak again, if I'm that lucky, I could tell you of our adventures in Southeast Asia, but today I wanted to concentrate on a few of our epic yes moments from our To the East and Back adventure. It was a 6-month journey through 14 countries that totaled up to approximately 30,000 kilometers of land travel. So there you go, you can see what we did on that map there. So why did we choose this journey in particular? Well, we always aim to be as eco-friendly as possible when traveling. We keep our zero waste lifestyle up on the road. We avoid taking planes and we prefer taking public transport. And this itinerary is just perfect for land travel. You can go such a long distance without taking a plane. It's absolutely amazing. Apart from sustainability, we're also into minimalism. So yeah, we bought all our traveling gear secondhand, and we try and keep it as simple as possible. As you see from this, my bag is less than a 30-litre bag, so it's quite small. And into the whole minimalism thing and trying to keep things as light as possible. You'll see on this slide that I even said yes to parting with 20 centimeters of my hair before leaving. I sent it to a charity that makes wigs for people with cancer. So I was actually quite happy of doing that. Parting with 20 centimeters of my hair wasn't that easy, actually. So yeah, so after 10 months on the African continent without ever encountering any sort of visa problem at all, we were a little unprepared for the amount of paperwork to be done for this trip. We had one big scare, as you can see from this screen capture that I have on my phone's calendar back then. We hadn't read everything on the website of the embassy properly, and we were about to have to call the whole thing off because, yeah, we didn't see that there was a deadline for handing some paperwork in. So that's the whole desperate plea to the Chinese event in my calendar back then. Yeah, so, but in the end, we did manage to get our Chinese visa. And as soon as that was granted, we had to push off because we only have, from the date the visa is issued, you only have 3 months to get into China. So that meant 1 month for Russia, 1 month for Mongolia, and 1 month to get into Russia, which if you're not taking any planes could be a bit, yeah, bit tight. So our journey across Europe was a time of night buses and couch surfing. If you have never tried couch surfing, please go for it. Staying with other people who in exchange only want to know more about your own country's culture is beautiful. These experiences were the definite highlight of our trip, real yes moments if ever there were any. Through Eastern Europe and Russia, the hospitality was absolutely amazing. We were welcomed by a host like long lost members of the family. We spent pure moments of joy just cooking with them, being taken out on hikes, and at the end of the day you get offered a nice cozy bed. Sometimes that's complete with fairies too, as you can see on that photo I put in the right hand corner with Nico sleeping up on a lovely fairy pillow. After that we entered Russia by bus. The border crossing was relaxed, nothing at all like what we'd expected. Not many people are really attracted to visiting Russia, but we absolutely loved it there. Couch surfing experiences aside, some of our biggest yes moments were arriving by night at the Red Square in Moscow, eating borscht with Lenin staring down at us from a portrait on the wall in a restaurant. We had snow in Siberia in the middle of May. And yeah, we hiked around the Olkhon Island in the middle of Lake Baikal, surrounded by snow-capped peaks. It was absolutely amazing. But the biggest yes of them all was obviously traveling by train. It's a common misconception that the Trans-Siberian is one train. It's actually a railway line that goes from West Russia to the easternmost point of Russia. We traveled the Trans-Siberian on many different trains, by day, by night, in first, second and third class. And our huge yes was definitely third class. We loved the carriages, full of wizened old babushkas eating smoked fish, and the tables and chairs that would neatly fold out into bed bunks, the huge samovars where you could get boiling water to make yourself tea at any moment. Yeah, and then there were the grumpy train employees called provodnitsas that would come and check your tickets. We even had a really cliche one who was completely drunk and had stashed his vodka bottle away in the bag of dirty sheets that he was collecting. That was really, he kept on coming up and being like, oh, I love the French people and everything. It was really funny. Yeah, oh, I should probably precise here that my partner is French. That's why the whole French thing, but yeah. So yeah, as you can see, trains became a place where we lived. Like we would do everything there. We would read, we would eat. We made friendship bracelets for our future hosts. We chatted with other passengers. We even washed things in the sink. I mean, it was like real hostel. I mean, it was our second home on the road. All the while watching the landscapes go by. So yeah, it was amazing. Our next stop was Mongolia, where unfortunately we both felt quite ill. We had a bit of a hard time of it, but we still yesed our way through it. I can remember this one time we were out in the steppe on a 5-day horse ride, and Nico fell very ill. So I had to ask our guide to call for a 4-wheel drive to come pick us up and take us to the hospital. And what followed next is the scene from the photo in the top right-hand corner. I'm really sad that it came out so unfocused, but it was a spur of the moment thing. The guide was holding up an antenna, another man was shouting into a satellite phone, and just next to them, behind there, you can see, another friend of theirs was cutting open a sheep, and gutting it. And this one scene was just, it captured how Mongolia is adapting to the flood of tourists, all the while staying true to its roots of nomadism, the whole like satellite phone and everything, and just behind the guys gutting the sheep, preparing dinner. Yeah, we then crossed over into China, and we were really excited but really nervous because lots of travelers had told us they'd given us lots of negative feedback. But it was the same with Russia, and we absolutely adored China. Travelers had told us it was difficult to buy train tickets and that you had to order via agencies that charged huge fees. But we just rocked up at stations and showed them a screen capture of what we'd seen on internet. They would usually just nod and print out the ticket, so nothing to report there, really easy. People had also told us that Chinese were standoffish, they didn't want to speak English. We didn't find that at all. I can remember this one time we were sitting in a town just on some steps resting for a while, and this man came up to us and asked us in perfectly good English if we needed any help at all, and if he could point us to somewhere. Or it was just, people were really friendly. I mean, for us, China was the land of yes. We said yes to the food, to the point of it sometimes making us cry from the chili, but it was just really so gorgeous. We said yes to riding in these rickety old public buses with Buddhist monks sitting near us and whispering and taking pictures of us when they thought we weren't looking. We said yes to all the people who would ask to pose with me because I'm quite tall, and over there it's just, yeah, not common to see someone as tall as me, I guess, a woman as tall as me. So that was quite funny. You can see that on the slide there. But yeah, the most epic yes of all our time in China has to be the Great Wall. We wanted to escape the crowds, and everyone told us, oh, it's just not possible to escape the crowds. There's always going to be a crowd. There's no way. It's just complicated. But we ferreted around on some blogs and asked our hotel to call up this hotel we only had an address and a phone number for. And we took a suburban bus and a shared taxi and got to this village that was near a part of the wall. And the small the small B&B there, they weren't used to receiving foreign people at all. They communicated with us via a translating app, and they were just generally fussing over us and being amazing. They cooked us homemade pasta and noodles and veggies from their garden, and they were just saying, no, you can't walk that far on the wall, it's not possible, it's too far, which was, it's just really cute. They were just really worried for us. But the next morning we got up at 4 a.m. to beat the heat, and we climbed up this rundown tower, which was the first point to get up there, and our jaws just dropped. It was stunning. The wall just went out in front of us for miles and miles over the hills, and we couldn't see another person. And we didn't meet anyone until the next part of the wall, which was the restored part. We walked from the ruins all the way to a restored part. And when we got to the restored part, there were some tourists, but before that, we didn't meet anyone on the 6-hour hike, I think it was. That was really, truly a magical moment. And when we got to the restored part, we took a few pictures, and then we got off and took a bus back to Beijing. So it was really simple. So I'd have loved to talk to you more about all the epic yeses on this travel, but I don't think I have much time left. So I'm just going to very quickly show you a few pictures of some more yes moments on the way back from China to Paris. Here you can see pictures from our 5-day hike up a very elevated Kyrgyz pass to see some mountain lakes, absolutely stunning. And a picture of me when we stayed 4 days in a Harry Potter themed dormitory in Kazakhstan, which was a bit out of the blue, but amazing. They also had an Alice in Wonderland lounge, so it was completely out of it, but yeah. And then, so here at the left, we're really happy because we've just been granted a 7-day transit visa through Russia to get back to Europe. And 7 days is quite a lot, so we actually managed to do a bit more visiting on our way back through Russia. In the middle, it's a picture of us arriving in Munich, where Nico and I met 11 years ago. So that was another epic moment. And then last but not least, we finally arrived in France just in time for a very dear friend's wedding. So to finish off the trip beautifully. Yeah, that sort of sums it up. To conclude, I'd say that this adventure was a real tale of yes. And I would tell anyone who's preparing a similar type of journey, please don't get scared by what travelers or guidebooks can say. Say yes to the unknown, and it will probably surprise you in the best of ways. Thank you very much for listening, everyone.